Welcome to Codebusters 1. In this booklet, we'll go over the letters T and A. Parental interaction is essential in this series, especially when your child says the letter names and their sounds. There's more information at the end of this video for parents. Now let's open the book to the front and side cover. Here we have examples of different bubble letters that you'll see throughout the booklet. Whenever you see bubble letters that have tracing or guidance within them, be sure to do them to practice how to write a letter properly. Now let's look at this first page where we introduce T. Let's read the directions first. Repeat each letter name and its sound after your teacher 3 times. Let's look at the first letter. This is the lowercase letter T. Its name is T. Its sound is T, as in turtle. Now, let's say the letter name and sound 3 times. T, 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 T. And now we can write our lowercase letter T. Let's move on. This is uppercase letter T. Its name is also T. Its sound is also T, as in turtle. T, 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 T. And now we can write our uppercase letter T. Now let's move on to this next section. Let's read the directions first. Say the name and sound, or beginning sound, of each letter or picture. You can ask for help. Fill in each letter or circle the picture. Let's look at the first one. The letter name is T. Its sound is T. And now we can write our lowercase letter T. This is 10. Its sound is T. And now we can circle it. Turtle. T. Circle. Teeth. Tiger, T. Turkey, T. Tunnel, T. Now you can go over this whole page with your parents. Be sure to write every letter and circle every picture. Now let's look at this next letter on page 5. Let's read the directions at the top. Repeat each letter name and its sound after your teacher 3 times. This is the lowercase letter A. Its name is A. Its sound is A, as in apple. A, 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 A. And now we can write a lowercase letter A. Let's move on to the next one. This is the uppercase letter A. Its name is also A. Its sound is also A, as in apple. A, 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 A. Now let's write a uppercase letter A and move on to the next section. Say the name and sound or beginning sound of each letter or picture. You can ask for help. Fill in each letter or circle the picture. Let's go over the first one. This is A. It says A. And now we can write our letter A. This is apple. Its sound is A. And we can circle it. Alligator. A. Astronaut, A. Add, A. Axe, A. Ash, A. Now you can go over this whole page with your parents. Next we'll move on to some blending. Let's look at the directions first. Say the sound of each letter separately, then blend the sounds together. Let's look at this first one. First we'll say the sound separately, then we'll blend them together. A, T, at, at. Let's move on to the next one. We'll say it separately and then blend. T, a, ta, ta. And that's how you'll learn how to blend in this booklet. Now let's go over some things with our parents to make sure we can get the most out of this booklet. Remember the front and side cover. When the child is given guidelines, we want them to write the letters, and the booklet will only be complete once they've completed all of these letters as well as the other activities in the booklet. When you don't see the guidance in the bubble letters, you don't need to have your child complete the letters, but it is good practice for fine motor and letter writing skills. And at the end of every book, we have a story. Please read this story with your child every day. Here are some examples of what your child will do in this booklet. Notice there's a lot of fine motor, as well as identifying the different letters within different fonts, and isolating the sound and identifying it amongst other sounds. At the bottom of every fourth page, you'll see a prompt to read the story. Now let's flip to the back of the book to look at the story. It should look something like this. This is the first Codebusters story, and at the top you can see the directions. Let's read them. Let's read this story. Follow my finger underneath each word as I read it. Repeat it as many times as desired. Find all 6 apples. So here's the story at the bottom, and we want you to follow along as you read with your finger so your child can incorporate the sounds and the letters together. You can also have the child identify all the 6 apples within the story, and this is just a fun activity with the story, but it can also help with their counting skills if you have them count aloud as they find the apples. The last thing I want to go over is when we do the blending, we are looking for short vowels only. So in this booklet, we're only using short A, as in apple. So make sure that you're looking and listening for that when your child completes these booklets. If you have any other questions, please contact the owner or a manager at your Gideon Center.